Hey you guys, so as you can tell, we're kicking it old school. I did a video recently where I sat down and did my makeup and talked to y'all. Didn't really enjoy that video. I kind of hated the setup, so I changed some things, changed my lighting. You'll have to let me know if you find this more enjoyable than my older videos. But today I kind of wanted to do the same thing, sit down and do makeup and talk to you. I am feeling into makeup right now. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to do the most groundbreaking looks in the world, but for some reason I'm feeling very drawn to the idea of just piling on some makeup. I know that's very 2016 of me, but I don't know. I just feel very drawn to it, and I haven't done it in a long time. Like, I haven't even done a full-blown smoky eye in maybe over a year. So I kind of wanted to do that. I figured it'd be fun to hang out and play with makeup. I'm also really pale right now, so maybe I'd kind of show you guys what products and colors I gravitate towards when I'm more fair. We'll just sit and talk about some things that have been on my mind lately. I feel like the theme of this video is gonna be like getting out of your own way, getting tired of your own crap, stepping into your grown woman era, just things I've been sitting with. So everything on my face I will link down below. I will talk a little bit about what I'm doing as I go, but because the focus of this video isn't necessarily some kind of tutorial, I will do my best, but forgive me if I'm not super thorough today. One thing I do like to use when I'm more fair, though, I figured I would share this with you guys, is MAC Painterly Paint Pot. Like, do you guys mess with MAC anymore? I'm kind of feeling called to them as of recent. It's just their line has gotten so small compared to what it used to be, which is a shame and really bums me out because a lot of my old favorites I can't get anymore. But I was happy to see the good old MAC Painterly Paint Pot is still with us. This is really good if you're more fair and have like pinky undertone skin. My skin is more neutral / pink. So most of the shadows I'm going to work with today are going to come out of this palette right here. This is something that I put together myself with neutral shadows. This is Makeup Geek and Viseart. I don't think you can get Makeup Geek anymore, but if I can think of dupes, I will let you know. Mostly, like I said, I'm just going for something, I think I want to do like brown, smoky eye, lashes, some like depth in the outer corner and maybe along the lash line. Like, I don't know. That's what I'm feeling today. I'm filming a couple of videos today, so this is just a chance for me to get ready while I can hang out with you guys and get another video done because I know I've been super inconsistent this year. So I am officially in the like full calendar year mark of my huge mental health episode, which I know I talk about all the time. Talk about it so much because it is such a huge part of my life still, as far as something I'm struggling with. I mean, my actual mental health itself is pretty good, but I've had a lot of issues this year with side effects from medication, and with just trying to feel my way through the change that medication can have on you. I've never been on anything like this before, so I was in no way prepared for what was going to come with it. And in fact, in my last video, we kind of talked about this a little bit. So today's kind of like an update with what's been going on with all that as well. I tried to get off some of my medication and I don't think I'm ready. Like, I had really bad withdrawal symptoms and it sucked. I can't deal with it right now. So I didn't get to, completely come off of everything, but I'm off of one so far, which I'm pretty happy with. And just being on what I'm on now, I feel a little bit better as far as like some of the side effects I was dealing with before have gone away. And one of them was my skin. Like, my skin's a lot better now. I know it probably still looks pretty bad to everybody else, but my skin has constantly been breaking out all year. So this is definitely an improvement as far as I'm concerned. I think that's kind of why, like a week ago or a couple weeks ago when I filmed that last video, I was super unhappy to be sitting in my old setup. But today I'm actually really enjoying it. It's feeling very nostalgic. Like, it's even my favorite time of year. It's fall. I got a little pumpkin-y candle going. I brought some of my fall home decor, like my vessels in here, just to kind of, I don't know, signal the change in seasons and hopefully the change in myself. I'm always so reluctant to get on here and have conversations with you guys because sometimes I say things based on how I'm feeling at that moment, but I change in how I'm feeling. So like, for example, in my last video, I told you guys I wanted to start doing a lot more home content, and I do, but I think I'm going to put those in like a vlog style format. In fact, I'm going to do a fall home decor video is going to go up in the next little bit. And so is like a favorites video that's going to have, that's what I'm filming after this. It's going to have beauty favorites, books, home fragrance, just all kinds of stuff. I do enjoy the idea of branching out and talking about other things, but at the same time, as I mentioned in my last video, doing that type of content is just way harder than I thought it was going to be. And I keep trying. It kind of makes sense that it should be harder than I thought it was going to be, because even when I first started doing YouTube, like makeup videos, there were so many videos that I filmed back then that just never saw the light of day. So I don't know why I thought I was just going to start doing a whole different type of video and right away every single one of them was going to go up all the time. I feel like if I get back to filming regularly and working, I probably will start to feel, just by extension, more like myself. So I think the solution to that is I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing. So I have some really cool ideas for some fall kind of Halloween content I want to do. It's not like an actual like fall makeup tutorial or like, you know, how I used to do costumes or whatever. Just something pretty cool. I'm not going to talk about it because if I change my mind, I'm going to regret it. But I think maybe one of the more missing components in my life in terms of just truly feeling like myself again, which is what I just want to get back to. I don't know if I'll ever feel the way I felt before my mom died, because I kind of think that's what started a lot of this for me in terms of my mental health declining so much, and just the trauma and just grief is a bitch. Let me just tell you right now, if you've never gone through it like this, it just changes you structurally, foundationally. As a person, you're going to be different. I feel very different. And I don't know, I'm just ready to move on with my life. I don't think I was ready for a long time. I think I just felt almost comforted by my grief and by my inability to just almost like not be willing to let myself be happy. And like right now, I'm not feeling like that. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic, which I think is kind of the first step that has to occur when you are fully getting tired of your own shit, like ready to make changes and be happy. Because happiness is really a choice. It doesn't feel like it. And again, like constantly feel the need to make allowances for people who are struggling with clinical mental health issues. Because in that case, like I remember when my mom first died, I bought this book by Gabby Bernstein, who is like she's kind of a woo-woo, like manifester, new age kind of guru. And I bought it thinking that it might help. And I just was reading, like, I don't even think I got through the first 2 chapters. Because I was like, there ain't nothing this woman's going to say that's going to help me. Like, I couldn't think my way out of what I was dealing with at the time. And sometimes you can't. So I get why this whole conversation of toxic positivity exists and why people want to encourage others to seek help instead of, you know, relying on self-help books, which I know self-help books get a really bad rap, but I think they serve a purpose. I think there's a difference between clinical depression and clinical anxiety and like medical intervention being needed, and, you know, going through a rough patch or enabling yourself or, you know, not taking accountability for what's going on with your life. And, you know, some of us just did not grow up with that type of information and those type of conversations. It's why I think, you know, one of the many reasons I think generational trauma and generational curses keep perpetuating the way they do, because each generation just gets the same information over and over again. And sometimes having a different point of view or a different perspective about things can really change the game for you as a person. That's my experience. I think for me, you know, I'm past the point where medication's gonna make the difference anymore. I never wanted it to be just about medication for me anyway. Part of why I didn't want to get on it to begin with. I thought it was just gonna make me rely on it too much. It really not change kind of the things I could change. Like there's certain things I can't change. I can't change my brain chemistry or whatever is going on that's made me have mental health issues like my whole life. That just is what it is. But there are things I can do to help myself. And I think that's where I'm at with all of this now. Sometimes for me, when I'm really struggling, or I shouldn't even say when I'm really struggling, when I'm scared, okay? Like, I think a big part of what stopped me from wanting to work much this year is just truly fear. I'm afraid of like getting back into a place where I'm working all the time and ignoring my mental health and my self-care and my physical health, and then ending up back where I was. And I don't think the solution is overcorrection, which is what I've been doing. Like, do you ever feel sometimes that you're giving way too much credit to your failures and not enough to your successes? That's where I feel like I am. I feel like I'm giving way too much attention, focusing too much on all the things that resulted in what I perceive as a failure. I know that like what I went through mental health wise was not an actual failure, right? I understand that. It's really not really my fault that things got to that. I mean, part of it is, but a good portion of it is not my fault. I can't help what my brain chemistry was doing. And yet, I'm giving all this attention and concern and fixating so much on everything that I did wrong to get me in that position, and just not enough on everything I've done right in the past that got me good results and things that made me happy. I think sometimes, like, as human beings, if you go through enough stuff, especially kind of like back to back to back, like I did there for a minute, because I've said before, 2018 was a really rough year for me too. I can't really get into why. One day I will tell you. But let's just say there's like a handful of things in the human experience that are considered some of the most stressful. And what I went through in 2018 was one of those things. It's just not something I feel comfortable talking about because I'm not the only person involved in it. But 2018, the entirety of it was really rough as well. And then 2019, my mother died. And then 2020 was what it was. And 2021, I had that mental breakdown. So I just think that year after year after year of like my most recent history being so difficult has me constantly thinking that that's just the way life is, and like trying to be happy or trying to live my life when any minute now something awful can happen. Like, I think that's what I've been doing, and it's really sad because I've said this before and I do believe it intellectually, that if you truly believe any minute now something awful can happen, then you have to concede to the fact that any minute now something good can happen, or just that you'll be okay either way, which I think is the source of a lot of people's anxiety, like that you're just not gonna be okay somehow. History shows that time after time, I always end up being okay. You know, a little battered, little bruised, maybe taking me a while to bounce back, but I'm always okay at the end of the day. Yeah, my lashes are in such a good place right now. I've been using Revitalash super consistently for months, and like, I can tell. I think something else that happens as you get older that's kind of nice is you kind of learn you just don't know as much as you think you do. Something's happened recently in my personal life that really illuminated that for me. Like, there was something going on that I just thought, I got this. I got your number. I know what's going on here. I know it frontwards from backwards. You can't tell me nothing. Like, the jig is up. I see it for what it is. And there were some parts of it that I was so wrong about. I'm not the type of person who's afraid to be wrong. I'm just not. I don't know why, but I'm not. I mean, I can be stubborn sometimes, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, once, you know, I can't deny evidence that's right in front of me, I almost find being proved wrong about stuff freeing. It just depends on the scenario. But in this instance, what I took away from that was kind of a comfort in the idea that I just don't know every damn thing. And if I can be wrong about this, there's so many other things that I could be wrong about, and in a good way. I know that sounds really weird because I feel like in today's day and age, everybody just wants to cling on to their beliefs about their, you know, the worldview they have, and other people just as tight as they can, and they're not willing to accept new information or consider anything outside of their scope of experience or what they believe to be true. I think that's terrible, you guys. Like, it's such a small way to live. You miss out on a lot of stuff. It's okay to be wrong. I think we should just kind of embrace it more. And in this instance, I feel a lot happier for having something like this be so wrong, because then it kind of makes me feel like, what else am I wrong about? What else am I so convinced of that is not serving me? And a good example of this, I was doing therapy, and me and my therapist were talking about my anxiety. And there are certain things about anxiety that like are physical, you know what I mean? Like when you have physical anxiety or panic attacks, all that stuff. Clearly you can identify that. But there's also things just about the way my brain works, and has literally worked my entire life, that is actually a byproduct of anxiety, but I didn't see it that way. I just thought that's just human experience, like that's how everyone's brain works or something. So my brain wants to overthink, it wants to catastrophize, it wants to pick everything apart. Like sometimes, like with YouTube, I just can't create something because I'm overthinking it. My managers tell me all the time, they're like, I think you're overthinking this. I think you're overthinking this. And it's so hard to break out of, because I think my anxiety tells me that there is a right answer. There is a one way to do this. And sometimes it's just not the case. Like sometimes, as much as like we want to put things in little boxes and believe we have all the answers before we can move on from something, move on to something, try something. Sometimes like our brain is just doing exactly what we have rewarded it for doing for so many years. And for me, that's overthinking to no avail. It doesn't actually result in anything positive, if I'm being honest. Really, all overthinking has ever done for me is made me unhappy or stressed, or it's helped me miss out on awesome opportunities and experiences, and held myself back and caused myself problems. And I have this thing where like I feel the need to understand things. It kind of drives people in my life crazy. Like something can't just happen and then I accept it. I have to sit and dissect it and figure it out and understand it. And I think in some ways that's just my personality. Like it's why I like to analyze media. It's why I like to read, I think. It's why I love psychology, astrology, human design. All that stuff is interesting to me because it provides me with something that feels like an answer, you know? It's just a stalling tactic. It's just something that makes the world feel small and safe for me to kind of move my way through. But again, it's not making me happy. Like, isn't that difficult to really look at some of the things you do that make you feel safe, but realize they don't make you feel happy? I think it's easy to conflate safety and happiness. I think it's almost like a familiarity thing too. You know, I think my brain got into the habit of trying to analyze and understand everything from a really young age. And now it just thinks that's what, and that's the funny thing about your brain, right? You're like, it's my brain, so whatever it says or does is the right thing for it to do. But your brain believes what you tell it. You know what I mean? If you can kind of focus on a different train of thought or a different approach, it's hard, but I think you can, I hope, you can kind of move things around a little bit in there to accept something different than what it's been accepting for so long. Look at this concealer. Isn't this like the palest concealer you've ever seen? I've really been loving these Makeup Forever Ultra HD concealers. Like I said, I'm doing a favorites video today, and these will be in there. I've been super hooked on NARS Radiant Creamy for years, but I have seen the light. Side note, if you're curious as to why I'm so pale, I'm trying to work on my neck skin. Like, I feel as if the skin on my face I like as far as like aging well is concerned, but but I focus so much on my face that my neck, I feel like, is so much older looking than my face. So I'm doing a lot of stuff. Again, I'll talk about it in my favorites video, but more products to work on my neck wrinkles. Part of that is exfoliation, and having fake tan on when you're trying to exfoliate any part of your body consistently is a nightmare, and I don't recommend it. So that's kind of what's going on with that, just in case you're curious. Oh, my skin's also peeling a little bit right now too. Didn't want to hold off making a video, so here we are. I'm of the mindset now where it's like, whatever I consider the next best thing to do or the next best way to deal with something, I should do the exact opposite. It's like, a good example is my skin's peeling. Really didn't have an idea of what I wanted to talk about today, and I would have sat here and like ruminated and stressed about it and tried to decide whether or not I should film a video today, or no, I gotta write a script first, and then I would have like obsessed over the script and basically prolonging just this simple thing of getting a video done, which again, this is part of my anxiety. I didn't know this for so long. I thought this was just the way everyone was, and maybe I was just really bad at being a person. I don't know. But now that I know it's just my anxiety, I'm trying to stop caving into it, like letting it run the show, and just being willing to like do things and see what happens. I'm so not a let's just see what happens person. I've been trying really hard to work on that, in fact, but it's for naught, because all I do is just enable myself to continue to take forever to do literally everything, which is just unnecessary. And again, doesn't make me happy. Like, there's parts of doing social media that don't make me happy, obviously. You know, every job, everything you do has a shit sandwich, as I like to call it. You just have to decide, can you deal with the shit sandwich? But I feel like I have a complicated relationship with it, because sometimes I hate it and I don't want to do it, and I feel like it's going to make me feel worse. But also I feel like I miss the creativity. I miss the purpose. I miss my community. I miss all of it, and I'll just continue to talk myself out of doing it because I'm like, oh, it's not going to be perfect. Oh, nobody's going to watch it. Oh, nobody's going to care. Oh, it's going to flop. And it's just like, it seems so simple to just be like, get over it. You know, my husband's constantly telling me, like, why do you worry about this stuff? Just don't worry about it. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it? Why didn't I consider that? This is just to try to do a little, like, oh, wow, on my bow. Very cool. I put this on just to try to do like a lifting thing and a highlighting thing. I told you I wanted to pile makeup on today. I was not kidding. This is the palest concealer I've ever seen. If you're really fair and you want like a white concealer, this is number 10 for Makeup Forever. It is so pale. I always forget that, and then I'll go in and do this, and then it's almost like too much. I start to look very Morticia Addams, which, don't get me wrong, not an insult, but also not what I'm going for. This is Amber from Fenty, the Cheeks Out Cream Bronzer. I've bought this a few times, and I hadn't used it in a while, and then I picked it back up, and I freaking love this stuff. It's perfect if you're fair. One of the best kind of cheek contour products, in my opinion, that you can get. I've been really diligent with my facial devices. I'm like on a journey, a facial device journey, if you will, and I'm seeing some really good results. In the last video I did, I was like filming the footage. I was editing the footage and looking at some selfies that I took, and I was just like, I look old. Like, I feel like I looked older and just tired and puffy and not good. I know it's not a nice thing to say about yourself, but it's a byproduct of, you know, being on camera all the time. I think that's another thing that was kind of holding me back and making me not want to be on camera, is because I was not in a place where I was willing to be kind to myself. I mean, I think you can be real with yourself. Like, you know, I'm not looking the best. I'm not loving what I see. I don't feel good about myself. Maybe I need to kind of take better care of myself. And then there's like being unkind to yourself. And I was kind of more in an unkind place for a while. But yeah, even just being real with myself after watching that last video, I was like, I look old. Like, I couldn't put my finger on it. It was just not good. I sat down and started like being super consistent with my facial device routine and adding some new things in, which again, I'll talk about in my favorites video. So you guys need to make sure you watch that if you want some more intel. And I'm definitely going to probably, wow, Whitney, I definitely want to do a current facial device routine because I still don't have any Botox or any filler except for my lips. I've always got my lips done. But other than that, I don't have anything in my face at all. And I'm not opposed to it necessarily. I'm just want to do a good like month or so of being really consistent with my facial devices before I go and have any kind of medical intervention, because it'll give me a better idea of what I'm working with. Essentially, it's more my habit to be very consistent with things like gua sha and facial massage than it is for me not to be doing those things. So because I know that's going to be like my habit for life, I don't want to get things done that a simple, more consistent use of my facial devices could do. And I know that that's a bold statement to say that like I could avoid getting, medical treatments done and get the same results with facial devices. But I will tell you that just doing my facial devices have changed the things I want to do. Because a couple of weeks ago when I was looking back at that footage, I was like, oh God, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do that. And now I'm kind of like, let's wait and see, because I'm already kind of happy with the improvements I've seen. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty lavender powder. This is something else that I had for a while. Got rid of it, repurchased it. I have downsized my makeup collection so much. All I have is what's sitting in front of me right now and what you guys can kind of see in those containers behind me. I want to buy more makeup, you know what I mean? But kind of see how I do with getting back into it first. If you guys have seen any new releases that are particularly exciting or you want to see me talk about, let me know. But I don't know. So I have two bronzers here. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer in number 1, and this is the Balm Desert. This is actually a powder, blush, and bronzer, but I always have this. Like, I had to reorder it not too long ago because I think it's such a good bronzer for fair skin, especially if you're more pink toned, because it has a little bit of a rosy undertone to it, which I feel like no bronzers actually do. But I am going to mix these together just to liven up the skin just a smidge more. So anyway, I guess the moral of this story, or the advice, if you will, that I want to impart on you guys is that obviously there are times in our lives when medical intervention is extremely necessary. And for me, probably saved my life last year, to be honest. But it clearly was only one part of the puzzle that I needed to be focusing on, because here we are a year later and I'm still not what I would consider 100% back to normal, which is all I want at the end of the day. I just want to feel back to some version of myself that I recognize. Right now I'm kind of feeling it. Something about the combination of the weather, the setup, the crackling candle behind me, the putting on a lot of makeup thing on camera while I'm talking to you guys, it's kind of giving me what I need right now. Which makes me feel like maybe sometimes the solution to getting ourselves back is just acting like our old selves and seeing if it kind of catches up with your brain a little bit. I really want to enjoy fall and the holidays this year. I don't really feel like I did last year. I mean, going into the mental hospital happened in early October, and then it took time for me to hit some sort of a baseline with my medication. And then I honestly don't really remember the holidays. I remember Thanksgiving because I cooked it last year. We're doing Friendsgiving this year, which I'm really excited about because my daughter's going to her dad's this year for Thanksgiving, so we figured we'd have Friendsgiving, which I've never done, and I'm super excited about that. But I remember Thanksgiving. I don't remember Halloween. Don't really remember Christmas. I don't remember New Year's. I kind of remember my birthday. Like, there's just big things that are gone from my memory from last year. I don't know if that's because they weren't memorable or if it's like my medication and everything I was going through kind of put me in that place. But either way, I want to make some memories this holiday season and just really enjoy myself, enjoy my family, enjoy my friends. And I feel more like, I feel more in line with the whole like happiness is a choice thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Like, I am choosing to get back to normal. I really want to focus on it. I'm going to douse myself in this, and then I'm going to turn the camera off, do my hair, come back, finish this up, and get ready to film some more videos today for you guys. Okay, for lips, I'm going to do this Milani lip liner in the color 04 Natural. I've been using this a lot lately. It's drugstore. It's awesome. I hope they still make it because I'm running out, but it's kind of my current favorite lip liner. Lipstick, I'm going to do Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I'm just going to pat a little bit of it on. I kind of just like the color of this lip liner and a gloss. It's what I wear on a daily basis. For the sake of the video, I'll do a little amount. And for gloss, I'm going to do White Russian by Buxom. I was hoping it would do that pop sound. I love that sound. I'm going to do a little bit of highlighter. This is Cookie from Benefit. This stuff is frosty. All right, guys, this is the final look. I have been looking at myself in the mirror for a little bit, and I don't look quite as washed out as I'm looking on camera right now. I hope I can fix all this in post, but we will see. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had a really, really good time. I feel really empowered from this conversation, even though I feel like that word gets thrown around a lot. I feel like just sitting here and doing makeup and hair that I really love, and being back in the old setup, it's made an effect on me for some reason. So yeah, anyway, if you guys are struggling with mental health, I will leave some resources down below. Make sure you take really, really good care of yourselves and of others. Please share with me down below anything that you have done in the past to kind of pull yourself out, get out of your own way, anything in line with the theme of this video. That's one of my favorite things about these types of videos, is when people share their experiences with each other. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.